one of my inspirations was, of course, the south of France and Paris and all those beautiful locations. As you probably saw, it's also the cities that inspired me, including London. Because when I opened my company, Belle Epoque Film, which I opened a bit more than 5 years ago, I had actually moved to London. I was working in TV, I was finishing my studying, and the atmosphere here, filmmakers, not just British cinema, because I love Ken Loach, and I remember Daniel Blake in particular was a very big inspiration even for this film, because of its generous cinema and also its authenticity, but also by the way we make films here, because filmmakers here really think out of the box. And I think when I moved here, it really impressed me in all the means you can imagine, and it really, I think, played a huge role in how I was thinking cinema. So this is definitely one of my inspirations.
Bonjour, comment allez-vous?
Bonjour, merci, très bien et vous? Ça se passe très très bien ici.
Ah, pardonne-moi, je ne parle pas en français un peu.
Non mais votre accent est très très bien hein?
Non,
et
non.
super, on comprend très très bien.
En anglais, s'il vous plaît.
Oh, okay, so
Yes. English. I was just
yes, English is more easy. Thank you so much. No, we're really happy about the West Coast premiere of The Golden Age. It's my debut feature film. It's a peer drama that screened yesterday afternoon here at the Downtown LA Film Festival, and it was really brilliant. So we're very happy. The team here is amazing. We had such a great time with the audience. Garrett moderated the Q&A after, and really the questions from the audience were just right in the center of the film. So it was a very moving moment. I interviewed so many women and people from the time to actually understand how it felt to live at the time. People would eat differently, they would work differently, everything would be so different. So when it comes to women, well, there are many things to the women in the 60s. We can now enjoy a lot of changes. At the time, I would say the main difference is that as a woman, you're really not necessarily seen as you have to succeed. Set in the 60s, 2 countries, 35 locations, Paris, south of France, music too, a dancing scene, there's a fight scene. So directing was so exciting because I wanted the audience to be able to really enjoy the world-changing charms of 60s Saint-Tropez and Ramatuelle or Paris.
We always think in our scale, we are really small or nobody, so nobody's gonna hear us. But in the movie, Sebastian proved us wrong. So we all can do something, and I really love this. It's like everybody can make a change. That was a great message from this movie. And Jenna showed us really well that every single person in the world matters, and I really love that. I've been really related to that.
Now I know that you can make a difference. With L'Âge d'Or really highlights on artists and anyone really struggling to make a change happen. So it's both this inspiration that were put together because at the time, people like the Beatles, we're in London, so we can really mention them.
Yes.
And the film also pays tribute to them. They really did a lot of sacrifices to bring change, and so this is the story of L'Âge d'Or.
Another of my very big inspiration is painting and music. And so when I researched to make the Golden Age happen, I remember I watched so many documentaries about the 60s with, of course, the Beatles, who really changed the world. And not only were they an incredible group, an incredible band, but they also made such huge sacrifices. I'm so blessed because, well, actually my very first interview I've ever done for the film I did in London, and there are some journalists here in the room who've interviewed me and been supporting the film since the very beginning. I was still in post-production. And I keep repeating in the interviews, for instance, people ask me, okay, how can an artist bring change? Because some people may feel, you know, they're just artists. Well, the Beatles in Jacksonville in the 60s, when they said, we're not gonna perform in front of a segregated audience in Jacksonville, we're not gonna do it, and I think it's John Lennon who pushed that. Well, they made something really big, not just for the US, but also for the world, because for the first time in Jacksonville, well, it was a normal audience. And it's something really big, because we may think, oh, it's the Beatles, they're so big, but no, at the time, they could easily have been a band that was just here for the summer. I actually started to license the music, even like I was just starting to write the film. So it started very early because I knew how important music would be and those titles would be. So as you know, it takes a lot of time. So I started it as soon as I started writing, and we even recorded the music before filming. So I had licensed with Belle Epoque Film all music rights before we filmed.
This is Dave, the drummer and guitarist. Yes. Hello.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. So this is Marcus, our bassist, and also doing back vocals and piano solos. Yeah, so here on his bass. And this is David, our magical singer, who's dubbing John, who will be on camera. This is the first time in the movie we're hearing the band play. And the band is probably, I guess they're quite thankful to be here and sing and play music. But there is also something a bit bitter, because they obviously are waiting for something more, and this is what happens later in the movie. So I guess there is something a bit bitter, and there is some kind of rage we can feel a little bit, just slightly. You know, like, Jesus Christ! Like, it's good to play music, but when is our big break?
Should I slip some swear words into the vocals just to show their frustration?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Fucking satisfied.
Trouble and no worried mind, and I just can't be satisfied, just can't keep on crying.
The Beatles really embodied that youth that was just tired of going to war and just wanted change. And they thought, oh, all those great inventions that happened after the two wars, they're great, but this time we're not making war with it again. They were really longing for change. And so really in this film, I managed to license the most amazing music, like titles from Jimmy Reed, Chuck Berry, I Can't Be Satisfied, which was performed by the Stones. So really, it was very important for us to have this great soundtrack to really represent the Saint-Tropez in its right form.
You produced the film, directed, acted. What challenges did you face? What did that bring with it?
Yes, for sure. There were challenges at each stage. Well, the first challenge was to put the money together, just to make it a little more original, for sure. So, because that's something that's really important. So I really had to think out of the box for a couple of investors, but also really worked a lot, so I could finance it a lot by myself. So that was an interesting part of the process. But to me, this film really needed to happen for many reasons. First, what I thought is that Saint-Tropez is changing, and Tropesians, they do such a great job to keep the authenticity of this village. So I was like, we really need to make this film happen because it's changing. And a little less than a year ago, Notre Dame burnt. So when we filmed there, it was a very moving moment for everyone in the cast and crew, because filming in a place like Notre Dame Cathedral, like any painter who painted Notre Dame or drew Notre Dame, or anyone who's seen Notre Dame, I'm sure pretty much everyone in this room maybe have seen it or heard of it. It's really moving because you can feel very something special. And now we are the latest drama, the last drama that's ever been filmed at Notre Dame in its usual form. The way you see it in the film, editing had been locked months before, and we talk about it in the film. And it's an important tribute to French patrimony.
In Paris, we filmed near the Eiffel Tower, so we closed the Birakem Bridge, so that's something they usually don't do. And also in a period restaurant in the south of France, we shot in a period train station where they shot all those brilliant movies at the time, like God Created Woman, The Harbor. We also rebuilt a Hollywood studio.
When we filmed all this, it never felt impressive, never felt big. It just felt true, because all those places are true. So when even after working on all this, when I was en gel in the train and I see the train coming to me, I just felt like I was there. How can you not? It's the real train from then.
The film shows 35 exceptional locations, and it was really important for me, for the audience, to really live Saint-Tropez and Paris in all its authenticity. People, all the locals in Saint-Tropez and Paris really opened me all their doors. All the 35 locations you can see in the film, they're all my #1 choices. And they really opened to us the most unique places.
We started with the shoot in Los Angeles. Overall, it took about 2 months. So that's not very long. I'm very thankful I've been cast in 2 feature films. They're actually both British feature films. Also, I'm in discussion to direct and online produce a few more projects. I'm excited to work also in film distribution because actually I have a distribution background working at Gaumont and SND, so I'm excited working with also festivals. Because I work for Cannes series, I'm looking forward to working with more really great quality festivals and also distribution. And at the same time, I'm also writing my upcoming peer drama, which is called For the Love of Music.
When you're preparing the film, you're both thinking as an actor, as a director, as a producer, and when you're filming, it actually gets to a lot doing at the same time. So it does come with a lot of preparation, so that you actually in advance prepare a lot. So for instance, as a director, I prepared a huge shortlist for my DP, discussed with all the heads of departments. And as an actress, we rehearsed a lot, also with the rest of the cast. And I would definitely do it again, because originally it wasn't meant to be like this. I wasn't meant to act in the film, and it happened this way. And I would say it really pushed me, and in a really good way, because I love the film so much.
Do you like her as an actress more or a director more?
Ooh, interesting question. Well, let's say this way. As a director, she's really committed. She knows exactly what she's talking about, and give me direction, it was the best. As an actor, it was easy to connect because she knows her character really well. So it's kind of same, I would say.
So I did a lot of research because it's a period drama, so it's in the 60s. So of course it's actors. I would say specifically French actor, like Jean-Paul Belmondo, I don't know if like some people knows, but like, or Alain Delon. Yep. So there's a specific movie we've been really related to is like La Piscine, like the swimming pool. And it's all those little information I get through, and then it's all about music also, and the Beatles, all those people who try to change the world in the 60s, Woodstock and all this.
Members of the audience who see L'Âge d'Or and think that sometimes they don't fit in, or they feel really desperate, or that it's really hard, they feel they're not supported, I would like to say they're not alone, and to see through the film some ways to actually find the support, find the courage to really bring change, because change is so hard. Yes. And when you're an artist or just willing, you know, to have a good life, it can get really hard because you can feel like you're not helped. If you want to create something, you can be told that it's never going to happen, or just look at coronavirus today.
Exactly.
There's always something.
In the current climate, exactly, with Brexit and coronavirus, I think it's important for people to have a little bit of inspiration and hope. Are you a fan of the 60s?
I'm a massive fan of the film, and I love it, it's great.
Any highlights from the film that you really, really want to share with the audience?
I think the highlight probably is just the atmosphere of the whole time period within the film. I think that's great.
Thank you.
It's very iconic.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely felt like I was in a time machine watching your film. So I thought that the wardrobe was amazing. You know, the hair was amazing. You guys did an amazing job.
It's a movie about artistic integrity, an artistic commitment, and how we can help each other with nationalities. And Saint-Tropez is also a village that gathered so many nationalities that really inspired artists from all over the world. So I feel it's a very good connection here.
When I got my first French role, I said, wow, that's amazing. I won't need to work on my accent, you know, I just need to speak French. When I read the script, I say, all right, I am an American speaking French, so I need to speak French with an American accent. So the best way for me to learn my American accent in French was to speak with some American friend who speak French, and I tried to imitate them. Yeah. So I was having a drink with them and said, oh, let's try to speak in French. Say, bonjour, je m'appelle Alison et je vis à Los Angeles. So we're just repeating over and over, and this is the way I learned my American accent in French way.
And we really need new filmmakers, we need new voices, we need solidarity to really highlight on artists who bring change. I think it's really important.